It's lean, it's green, it's a great source of iron, and will definitely give you garlic breath. By the way, I have a tip to help with that, so stick around until the end. This is spinach pesto. Traditional pesto is made with basil. Now I say traditional pesto instead of normal pesto because I'm trying to normalize non-traditional pesto ingredients. I want to democratize pesto. I want to bring it to the masses. I want to be the Cesar Chavez of pesto. No, who's an Italian version of someone who helped everyone and was universally loved. I want to be the Benito Mussolini of pesto. Now we're using spinach in this recipe because it's a lot cheaper than basil, and I bought a shit ton of it and need to find somebody to use it up before it turns to mush. That's never happened before. Also, our fridge is super tiny, and I tend to get a little cranky when things get backed up. Don't read into that. Also, I'm not using baby spinach here because I want my spinach to have flavor. I want my spinach to be adult and consenting. I want it to be old, you know, like it's lived a life. Like it's seen some things, man. Now, whatever age of spinach you use, remember to remove the stems first. Most recently, I did this with cilantro, both with and without the stems, and unsurprisingly, the version without the stems was way more flavorful. As far as nuts go, I can't say that and not smile. We're also using pecans and almonds in this recipe because they also happen to be what I have on hand, and they're also way cheaper than pine nuts. You ever see people with those giant bags of pine nuts in Costco? Dude, what are you, some sort of Russian oligarch? You need help pushing your cart of gold bars? Now, the cool thing about this recipe is that it's also a formula, so you can use whatever greens, oil, nuts, garlic, acid, and hard cheese you happen to have on hand. And you can scale it up or down depending on how much you want to make. I know, you came here looking for a pesto recipe and I'm teaching you how to fish. Don't make me explain that. Also, I'll give you both the formula and the recipe so that those of you with very little kitchen experience and or lots of anxiety will still be okay. So grab a drink, pop a Xanax, and let's get to the kitchen.
For about 1 cup of pesto, we're going to need about 200 grams of spinach, 133 grams of extra virgin olive oil, 67 grams pecans, 67 grams freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, 13 grams of red wine vinegar, 13 grams of garlic, about a gram of Diamond Crystal kosher salt, and just a pinch of superiority because you're using grams. Now, normally you can add all the ingredients except the olive oil to a food processor fitted with the blade attachment and just zip it until it's the texture of wet sand. But my food processor is tiny, just like my humble ego. So I'll be doing this in batches. Now, once you've got your wet sand, add the olive oil. Now, I know other recipes will tell you to slowly drizzle in the olive oil, but you don't have to. Now, I'm drizzling here for demonstration purposes, but I've swung both ways and I'll be the first to tell you, I can't tell the difference. Once the oil's fully incorporated, you're done. Slather it up on BECs, add it to a pesto pasta, put it on a Ritz with some stracciatella. That's a little ditzel my wife and I like to call bird craps, or just eat it straight out of the container. Oh, speaking of which, for that garlic breath tip, if you briefly simmer the garlic in water, it'll actually help cut the harshness. Now, depending on your garlic's girth, simmer for 1 to 2 minutes tops. The last time I did this, I tried 5 and it took out all the bite. I mean, is it even garlic if I don't get heartburn?